Hello friends, my name is Habib. Today we're going to learn how to make a shooter game in Scratch. So first, before I make the shooter game, I have to teach you something very important. Now you see that I am signed into my account, right? Well, I have two Google Chrome. I have two Google Chromes opened. No. Anyways, I have two Google Chromes opened, one that's not signed in and one that's signed in. Now, you see that the one that's not signed in, yeah. Now, if you click on create, now I'm using the one that's not signed in. And then we do something. Let me move the scratch card here. As then we go back to Scratch. You see that since we are not signed in, our project is not saved, which is a very big problem because you need to be able to save your projects. You can't just make a project and then let it go to waste. So you have to click on Join Scratch and then create a user. And now we can click on sign in and then sign into your account. And then click on sign in, and then once you create your account, you can type the username of your account, the password, and then click on sign in to sign into your account. Oh no, it's not so much. No. Anyways, now once you've signed into your account, it should look something more like. Once you've signed into your account, it should look something more like this. And then it's going to, and then yeah. This is how it should look like when you sign into your account. And then you see this folders button. This folders button is where all of your projects are shared. See, I've created a lot of projects since the years. Now click on new project. Now, unlike the other one, let me name the project Shooter. Now, let me create a new tab. Now, if I sign into Scratch again, and then I click on this file folder button, you see that our project is going to be saved. That is why it is important to create an account. Now we have this normal scratch card here, so now let's create the project. When flag clicked, forever, there's also this backpack. This backpack allows you to save assets of your game. You see I have a lot of assets that I've saved. These are all the assets I have saved. You can also save code assets in here. More. Okay, it's enough. No, close. Now I'm going to write move. Then I'm going to say if then. Then I'm going to put 4 if then statements if you want 4 controls. This if then statement means I'm going to write if then. No, not this. No, actually I'm going to put 5 if then. No. Actually I'm going to put 5 if then statements since I want there to be 5 if then because I want there to be 5 controls. I'm going to change this to up arrow. Put 1 for every single one. Now for this game, we're going to use the WASD keys. Now this one's going to be key W. No. This one's going to be key S. This is perfect. D and A. This is pretty messed up. Now, if when we key W is pressed, we want it to go up. So change Y by 10. And if key S is pressed, then it's going to change y by -10. And then if key D is pressed, then it's going to change x by 10. And then change x by -10. But you see that there's a problem. If we want to change the character's speed, for example, then we have to change all of these variables manually, which is not so great if you ask me. I'm going to make a variable. Variables are new. Variables allow you to store information. Now, I can either make the variable global or make the variable local. Means if I make the variable global, then it can be accessed, then I can use this variable for every single sprite. But if I make the variable local, then I only be able to use the variable for this sprite. So I'm going to name it local and then name it deer. No, in essence not. Rename, it's meant to be SPD. SPD is short for speed. Now I can replace all of the positives ones to change y by speed, change x by speed, and then I'm going to go to operators, and now operators in this section is where we can do maths like sine, cos, all those boring math stuff. I'm going to bring times -1, speed times -1, and then I'm going to duplicate it and put it here, and then put it here. Now you see that when we press any of the keys, the sprite isn't moving. That is because we haven't set the speed of the sprite. Now we have to set the variable, and when the flag clicked, anything before the forever loop will only run when the game has started. So I'm going to set speed to something like 5. No, 5. 5, not 5A. Now you can move left and right, up and down. It's a bit too slow. I'm going to change this to 10. Load, play it again. Now you see the character's moving much faster. Great. So now there's a problem. We can't actually shoot. This is a shooter game. We have to be able to shoot. So if you want to actually be able to shoot, if then mouse down. What all these do is that if key W is pressed, if key S is pressed, if key D is pressed, if key A is pressed, then this change Y by, it changes the Y position of the sprite, which means it basically just changes the Y speed of the sprite by this SPD. The same thing was to change X, but then we can write if then mouse down, which means if the mouse is held. So now we can go to event, with control, create clone of myself. Now you see that now when we hold the mouse down, it is going to create a clone of Scratch Cat. And we can also drag these clones. Now you see Scratch has a clone limit. Let me make too many clones. I'm just going to wait. Now you see that once we've reached the Scratch clone limit, which is about somewhere around 350, or when we reach the Scratch's clone limit, then you won't be able to make clones anymore. So that's the disadvantage of using clones. Once we reach the clone limit of Scratch, we won't be able to use clones anymore. But there's also another alternative. You can use pen, but the disadvantage of using pen is that pen doesn't give us as much control as using clones, since clones, they directly create a clone of the sprite. Well, the pen doesn't. So anyways, I'm going to name this to player. Rename this to player. Now, this is a shooter game. What's the point? What's the point of creating clones of ourselves? We can't actually shoot. So I'm going to name this right named bullet. And so always like I said, always make sure that your sprite is centered, or else bad will come for you. Do you know that your sprite is centered? Your sprite will automatically snap to this center hook. If you want to know that your sprite is centered, you're going to see this blue line on. You're going to see this blue line on your sprite. If this blue line is in the same position as whatever this is, if your blue line is in the same position as it, then that means your sprite is centered. So I'm going to center my sprite. Now that I've centered my sprite, we don't want the base sprite of the bullet to show. We aren't actually going to do anything with the bullet sprite. So when flag clicked, hide, we're just going to hide the sprite. Now we want it so that it is going to create a clone of the bullet whenever I press the mouse. So to test if this works, I'm going to press the mouse and nothing happens. Why? Because, well, we hit the bullet before, and now when we create a clone of the bullet, since the clone of the bullet is basically just like the bullet, the clones of the bullet are also going to be hidden. So when I start as a clone, show, it basically shows the sprite. What this means is that when a clone of it is created, then it is going to show the bullet sprite. I mean, it's going to show that clone. Now I can create a clone of it. Hooray! But you know, the bullet is not actually going, because the player is just, I don't know, just staying in one place. So we can go to motions, go to player. Now see that when I create the bullet goes to the player. Now we've created a simple drawing app. H G. It's pretty scrunky drawing app if you ask me. So anyways, but we're wondering, but then if we, you know, yeah, why can't we just delete it? No, I'm not going to delete it. Oh, where is it? This is annoying. So anyways, so now that the player can so-called create bullets, we need the player to actually be able to, you know, we need the bullets to actually shoot. So, right, repeat until touching, where is touching, repeat until touching edge, which means these borders around the screen, these borders, and then delete this clone. And then we're going to make it to move 10 steps. What this does is that when a clone of this bullet is created, it is going to show and then go to player. So, and then it is going to keep moving 10 steps until it touches the edge. Then when it touches the edge, it is going to run what is under here, which is deleting the clone. Let me make it. And now we could see that, yeah, it works. We can make these cool patterns. But the point of a shooter game is not making cool patterns, it's, you know, doing something. Now you see that there is a bit of a problem. Oh no, it's not a problem. So anyways, I'm going to change my player sprite to this square thing. Shoot bullets. Now I'm going to change my style of movement. Remove these key D and A keys. No, don't remove them. Instead, remove all these and change X by X SPD and leave these changed X variables. We want it so that if the key D key is pressed, it's going to turn instead. Oh no. Oh no, this is meant to be move SPD steps, move SPD, and then move SPD times -1. Now we can do this, but the movement is very fiddly. And not only is the movement very fiddly, it also doesn't allow us to do what we want to do. So I'm going to write point towards mouse pointer. And now you see that the movement is much more fluid, since the player now points towards the mouse. We can remove these two useless things. Yeah. We have I'm going to change this. I'm going to change the speed of the player again. 6. Now the player can move, but the bullets, they keep shooting right. We need the bullets to shoot to point towards the mouse pointer instead. So go to motion, point towards mouse pointer. Also take note that change X by 10. This change X and change Y variables, they're not affected. They are not affected by the direction of the sprite. So if you turn your sprite and use this change X by 10, then it is going to keep moving right. It is not going to be affected by the rotation of the sprite. If you want the movement to be affected by the rotation of the sprite, then use the move steps block. So anyways, oh yeah, another tip: it's best to view your game in full screen so that you don't accidentally, select anything. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this bullet smaller, center. But there's a problem. These bullets, they're so grainy and unsmooth. If we want the circles, because for some reason the circles in Scratch, they're not smooth. Now if we want the circle to be, actually smooth, then you can put a transparent circle around it, make it feel transparent, and make it out, and then yeah. Now the circles are smooth. Oh yeah, let me reduce the size of the circles so that, because circle interferes our hitboxes. There we go, smooth circles. The next thing we're going to do is that I'm going to design an actual player character. Currently, our player is just kind of it's a purple square. It's not really, cool. So I'm going to make it gray. And then I'm going to give it a shoot nut. Now I'm going to not center it. Then I'm going to make it dark. and then I'm going to press this back button to you know, put the shooter behind the player, and then I'm going to move it back. No, you can copy paste it to make a cool player. Start it to come together. Wait a minute. Let me make it bright. This design is good enough. Pew 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 pew. Oh, this doesn't look good enough. Just pew 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 pew. Now, the bullets are in front of the player. So anyways, these bullets, they're in front of the player, and I really don't want the bullets to be in front of the player. So go to looks, and then go to back layer, which makes it to be behind everything. Now the bullets aren't in front of the player anymore. Now let me make the bullets a little bit more stylized. First remove the outline, and then make the bullet to be more fitting, a dark grayish sort of color. Cool. But now the player is pretty overpowered. We need to add bullets delay. Go to player, and then wait, and then this is the delay. Now I'm going to make the delay to be something like 0.1 seconds. But now you see that the player is very, very slow. 0.03. But the player now is very, very, very slow. That is because it keeps waiting 0.3 seconds to do anything when we click it. So we can put this in a separate when flag down statement. Let me run this again. Wait, what? Oh, I meant to put this for a forever loop. Now you see that the player isn't slow anymore. Now it's time for the actual crux of the game. Enemies! Copy the player's sprite. Now turn it green. Such a spooky color. Zombie green. Then I went to select this eyedropper tool, and then make this darker. Make this lighter. Ooh. I'm going to remove this. Now, I don't really want this. So, I'm going to remove everything from the enemy. I'm going to click on save now. As I'm going to write forever, move 10 steps, do like 3 steps, and point towards player. I'm just going to make it move to the player. Please don't. No. So now that we've done that, it's awkward. I'm going to make it move 1.7 steps as a player. Now it's slow enough. Now we need it so that when these evil people are hit by the bullets, I want it so that when these evil people are hit by the bullets, we want it so that when these evil people are hit by the bullets, they're going to, you know, take damage. I'm going to create a new local variable called HP. And I'm going to create an if statement that says if HP is less than 1, then I don't know. Let's delete this clone. Yeah, then it's going to hide. Let me move it. Oh yeah, let me set this to 1 steps. So anyways, if HP health is less than 1, then it's going to hide. So when I play it, it disappears. Now when the thing begins, I'm going to put show, and I'm going to set the health to, now I want the health to be random, so pick random 1 to 10. Let's say 1 to 20. Now you see that has 3 HP. Let me run this again. 13. We want it so that when this thing it touches the bullet, so right, if then if it is touching the bullet, then its HP, it's going to change by -1. Oh, that was easier than I thought. Okay, now it has 18 HP. Yeah. It's too easy. Now you could spend time doing a bunch of balancing and all those stuff, but we're not here for that. So I'm just going to set the HP to this and there. Yeah. Oh no. So now it is time for the last steps of this tutorial. This tutorial is slowly coming to an end. Now we need to create a spawner to actually spawn the enemies. I'm going to make it green. Then when flag clicked, forever wait wait 1 second. I'm going to set pick random seconds, and then it's going to spawn the enemy. Create clone of, this is meant to be enemy, not player 2. NM, create clone of NM. Now I'm going to make sure, wait 1 second. So now we're going to move all this to hide to another place. When I start as a clone block, when I start as a clone, so maybe when I start as a clone, I'm going to move all this here, and I'll replace the forever block with repeat until HP is less than 1. Repeat. It is going to repeat until H is less than 1. Now I can remove this, move 1 steps and point towards player, and then this. And then if HP is greater than 1, it is going to delete itself. We still haven't added the code that makes the enemy to, go to the spawner when it spawns. So go to spawner. Now I'm going to go to the enemy sprite. It's going to make it go to spawner. Oh no. Now I have 2 enemies following me. This bullet is too overpowered. We could just camp here and defeat all the enemies. It's too easy. What to 100? It's better. We need it so that when the bullet touches an enemy, it is going to delete itself. So repeat until touching the edge or touching the enemy. Now everything is all nice and balanced. No, it's not all nice and balanced. Need to make this at least possible. So now I'll set the spawn time 2.5 seconds. And then I also want the enemy to have each enemy to have random speeds. So I'm going to go to variables. I'll make a new variable for this sprite only speed. Make variable this sprite only. Speed 2. What's this name? Oh no, forgot. Delete. Make new variable, put this sprite only. Speed 2. And now I'm going to set speed 2 a random range from 0.3 to 2.5. I'm going to set this to speed 2. And then I'm going to make this wait 5 seconds because it's probably going to be unmanageable. Phew. Got defeated easily. Slow enemies, known enemies. 2 enemies following me. It's 2 enemies. So scary. Please don't do no, I'm innocent. Yeah. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add a scoring system and make the backdrop. Now I'm going to make it a grey dark backdrop. It's grey with layers and layers of mountainous rocks. I'm going to make this more mountainous, pointed. But it's going to take forever. Pointed. Layers of mountainous. That's how. Copy paste. Now add one more layer of mountainous rock. No. This lighter. There we go. And the last thing I want to add before we end this tutorial is a spawning system. Let me make this player speed slower. times minus 0.5. It's more manageable at least. Woo. So the when the player touches an enemy, then the game is going to stop. It's 5.6. So I'm going to write if then touching enemy, and then I can change it to stop all, which is basically just, yeah. But this game is 10 times easier. I regret what I've said. Come on, just keep shooting. It's the winning strategy. Now the last thing I'm going to add is a spawning system. I mean a scoring system. Make a variable for all sprites. Score. Boring variable. And I'm going to hide all the other variables. And then I'm going to hide all the other variables so that there's only the score variable. At the beginning of the game, the score variable be set to 0. And now, if an enemy is defeated, it's going to change it by 1. No, this enemy is unusually powerful. It's not doing anything. It's changed score by 1, not health by 1. Come on. Yes, I could score some points. Some good point yeses. No. Don't want to get defeated by these stupid enemies. Finally, I'm managing. Anyways, that is the end of today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel, ObaCode. Bye.